this wasn't actually your genre. It's not something that you would usually write. How did you get into the headspace as an author and really resonate with these characters to turn out the story that isn't something that you would usually do?
Right, so writing to begin with wasn't something that I wanted to do, but about 10 years ago I was inspired by a character who kind of just, I was living in Hawaii at the time, and she just kind of materialized as a figment next to my bed. And I just planned to jot down a few notes on kind of what sense I got from her, and it turned out that I just kind of plunged into writing a novel. And the same happened with this story. It was inspired by the real life event of Elizabeth Fritzl, the girl who was abducted by her father in Austria several years ago, and she was kept in the family cellar, went undetected for 24 years and ended up having 6 children who she had to raise in captivity. And so that idea was the compelling idea for me. I'm a young mother. My daughter's 12 years old, and I wanted to know what it would be like to try and provide a sense of wonder and hope for another individual in those extreme circumstances. But I knew instinctively that my character would not tell the truth, that she would create an elaborate fable as to why they were in captivity. And I wanted to explore that. And I started with one character and that compelling idea, and then everything else started to unfold from that, including all the other characters and the major plot twist that comes halfway through the book.
We don't want to talk about that. That would be giving too much away, I think. But it really does sound like you have the mind of a writer. And even though you didn't set out to be a writer, maybe it was always there. Because it's not everyone who can just come up with characters like this and so vividly. So I think that's a great trait.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
now, what? Oh, continue.
Yes. Well, I think if you present yourself to any kind of creative endeavor, you'll be surprised as to what you can do to provide yourself a sense of space and the luxury of time, whether it's in painting or composing music, or in my case, writing. There's a sense in which there's something else going on. For me, writing is almost like sticking my hand into this invisible current that runs overhead, and I kind of feel like a conduit of that electricity, that energy. And I'm often surprised by the discoveries that come out when I'm in a creative endeavor. So that's my advice for anybody, really, is to find time to do something and be surprised about the capacity they have to create something beautiful and something hopefully that inspires other people.
Now, Isla, Above has just come out, but what can we expect from you next?
Well, I wrote the first 2 books in secret. My first book, literally, I wrote in a closet. I took my husband's shirts aside and I moved my little desk in there. And I think that's a great metaphor for how I work, completely private. A part of the reason is that I want to give myself permission to fail. And then part of it is not wanting to say too much, because everybody's in the writing business is worried that somebody's going to capture their great idea. And with Above, part of the reason why I changed so dramatically from how I started with the idea was that Emma Donoghue published her book Room about a year or 2 before I had finished mine. So I feel like she beat me to the finish line. And, but I will say this, it has people in it. It is full of suspense and drama, and it's an exploration of prejudice and hate, but within the context of a love story. How's that?
Well, we can't wait. Now, for anyone watching this video, you can get Above at all good bookstores, and Isla's going to be coming to South Africa to do a book tour, so you can look out for her then.